How to free up space on your device. Overview. We'll have an introduction, assessing your storage, removing unnecessary apps, managing photos and videos, clearing cache and temporary files, managing downloads and documents, using storage optimization tools, backing up and deleting large files, performing system updates, and factory resetting. So, introduction. Why freeing up space matters. So if you have a certain amount of storage, right? If you use up all of your storage, your device can get slower, and you of course want to download more apps and load up more videos, stuff like that. So if you have a low amount of storage, it can cause apps to freeze, slow down, or crash frequency. And system updates. So some devices require like a certain amount of free space to download and install updates. And updates are really important for your device. They provide security, and they let you get new features. So for example, I think like the iPhone, you have to have 5 gigs or something to be able to update, 5 gigs of free storage. So if you don't have that, then it won't really work. And overall performance, as storage fills up, your device may slow down. So freeing up space can also improve battery life and overall performance, making your device faster and more efficient. So this is how to check your storage. And I have a video at the end if you guys need, or I can show you. But first, if you're on an iPhone or any device using iOS, then navigate to your settings app and then scroll down to general and then iPhone storage. So if you click on iPhone storage, you can see like a breakdown of how much storage is being used by apps, system files, photos, and then you can do whatever you want. Sometimes it gives like recommendations to free up storage. It'll say that you have like large files, and then it'll give you tips to remove them. So if you have an Android device, then you can go to settings and storage, and here you can find a summary of how much space is used and what categories of apps are consuming the most space. So I think this is just some vocab. So, or never mind. So applications are one of the biggest storage hogs. So apps, especially games and social media apps. So media is high resolution photos and videos, and they can quickly consume storage. And when you're identifying like the biggest storage consumers, uh, you should identify the system data, like how much storage is being used, and then like look at the breakdown of whatever apps or whatever files are taking up the most storage. So the biggest thing to free up storage is to remove unused apps. So this is the steps to uninstall apps. So if you're not using something or if you think that you don't really need it anymore, then you can probably remove that application because that's going to be taking up storage and slowing your device down. So if you're using an iPhone or using iOS, then you long press the app icon on the home screen until your menu appears. And then you can select delete app. If you don't want to do that, you can go to settings, general iPhone storage, select the app, and then choose delete app. If you're on an Android phone, then you can go to settings and then apps, and then select the app you want to remove and tap uninstall. Alternatively, you can long press the app icon and drag it to the uninstall option. And there's some storage analysis tools. Like I mentioned in the last slide, iOS has it, and iOS can show when an app was last used. So if you don't really use that app, just like I said, you can delete that app. And on Android, apps like Files by Google can identify really used apps. So there's also an option to offload apps. That's only an option on iOS, I believe. And you can see it in settings uh, just like I said, like where to check your storage. You can also see offloading apps there. And if you offload the app, then it removes the app, but it still keeps its documents and data. So for example, if I offload Google Docs, or not, that's not a good example. If I like offload YouTube, then my YouTube data will be stored, but the app will be uninstalled itself. So that's a good option if you think you might need it in the future, but you're not really sure. Because if you want, you can download it again and you won't lose any of your data if you offload. Remember, this is only on iOS. So this is how to manage photos and videos. So videos, especially, they take up like a lot of storage, a ton of storage, especially if you're shooting on like a modern smartphone that can shoot in 4K. I know from personal experience that 4K takes up a lot of storage. Believe me, it takes up like 60 megabytes a minute. And then Apple has their own ProRes system that can take up even more storage. So regularly go through your photo gallery and delete photos or videos that are duplicates, blurry, or unnecessary. So for example, if you have like 10 photos of the same thing that you don't need, then go ahead and delete those. That'll save you a lot of storage. And alternatively, if you don't want to keep your storage locally on your device, then you can upload it to the cloud. So if you have an iCloud membership, or I think it has like a free tier too, then you can go to settings, iCloud photos, and enable iCloud photos and optimize iPhone storage. So if you do this, some of your photos and videos will be sent to the cloud, so they don't have to be stored locally on your device. And then Android has a similar thing called Google Photos. So open up Google Photos, go to settings, and enable it. Once enabled, turn on free upspace to remove local copies of photos and videos that are already backed up. So backing up is like when something's stored on the cloud and on your device. So if it's already stored on the cloud, then turning on free up space can delete it from your local phone or whatever device you're using and only keep the cloud copy. And then these are some apps to manage your media. So there's an app called Gemini on iOS, and I believe you can download it, and it can help find and delete duplicate photos. So if you don't want to go through your photo library and then scroll through and try to find all the duplicate photos, you can download an app like Gemini to delete all of them. And on Android, Duplicate Photos Fixer does a similar thing. So this is how you clear cache and temporary files. So what is cache data? Cache data includes temporary files stored by apps to help them load faster. Over time, cache can build up and takes significant storage up. So basically, cache data is like it's like files to help load up an app faster. But if you're not using an app that much, the cache can build up and then it'll take storage up and it can also slow the app down. So this is how to clear cache on Android. Go to settings, storage, and cache data. Tap clear cache data to free up space. On some devices, this option is usually found under apps within settings. And in iOS, clearing cache usually requires uninstalling and reinstalling the app, as iOS doesn't provide a clear option or direct option to clear app caches. Alternatively, use apps like Cleaner for iPhone to help clear temporary files. So this is going to make your device faster. And there's some apps that you can do it with, especially on iOS, because it doesn't have its own. So this is just a tip. Focus on clearing cache for larger apps like browsers, social media, and streaming services. So if it's something that you think is like a large application, like YouTube could be one, social media, those can have a lot of cache in them. So clearing the cache on those will help speed up your machine. So this is how to manage downloads and documents. Often if you download something, especially like old documents that you maybe used once, but you don't need anymore, then deleting these old documents and downloads, that can really help speed up your device as well. So regularly check your downloads folder, and you can find that on iPhone, Android, and Windows, I believe. So look for files that you no longer need, like documents, PDFs, and other files. Next, organize your documents. If you have a lot of documents that you may need, then sort your documents into folders based on categories. And move important files to cloud storage or to an external hard drive to free up space on your device. If you break different documents and files up into categories, then that can probably help you keep keep a tab on everything that you have downloaded. And then if you need later, you can easily find it, delete it, and do whatever you want with it. And if you want to compress large files, you can use file compression tools. Compressing a file basically just makes the size of it smaller. So tools like WinRAR and 7-zip can reduce the size of large files. This can help save space while retaining the files for future use. And then there's also some other file management apps, like Files by Google or Documents by Readdle. So next, we're gonna learn about using storage optimization tools. So go to settings, general, and iPhone storage. Here, iOS provides recommendations for freeing up space, such as offloading unused apps. So just like I said in the beginning, just like there wasn't like one of the slides, you can offload apps and it'll say review large attachments on your iPhone when you follow these steps. And it'll basically give you some tips on how to reduce the amount of storage that's being taken up. And Android devices, Pixel, Samsungs, they also come with a storage manager that offers suggestions for freeing up space. Additionally, the Files by Google app has a clean feature that identifies unnecessary files and allows you to delete them within a single tap. So there's a comment I wanted to make. There's like a lot of AI-based apps nowadays because AI is a big thing nowadays, where it can help you like clear up storage, find duplicates, stuff like that. So if you go to the App Store and search up clean up iPhone or whatever it said, there's gonna be like a lot of file manager apps that can help you delete duplicates, delete other stuff like that. So next, backup and delete large files. First, identify the largest files. If you break or if you delete something that has or is using up like 100 megabytes, that's not really gonna free up a lot of storage. But if you delete an app or something that's using 4 gigabytes, then that's 40 times more storage that you're freeing up. So don't delete everything that you see. Mainly focus on deleting the bigger stuff that can make a big difference and offer you a lot more storage. So use the storage breakdown under device, settings and storage. This works for both iOS and Android. And find large files that are taking up space. These might include videos, high resolution photos, and large documents. If you still want to keep your data, but you're worried that it'll fill up on your iPhone or Android device, then you can also transfer it to an external hard drive, or you can download it onto cloud storage. So this is like kind of part of the storage thing, going into it and going into like why we have to keep our storage updated. So this is how to perform a system update. So system updates like iOS 18, the newest Android versions, they can help improve performance and security patches, and often there's bugs and they can fix bugs, errors on your device. And sometimes they can also help save battery life. So system updates are stuff that you get like every year, every few months, and they can help do all of this. And they're pretty much free on your device for a few years. So steps to update your device. iOS. Go to settings, general, and software update. And if an update is available, tap download and install. Make sure you have enough free space and a stable Wi-Fi connection before proceeding. So another point I wanted to say on this is make sure that you have the time to update it. Make sure that you don't need to use your device while it's updating. Because often these updates take 20 to like 30 minutes or so. So don't do it when you're busy and you need to use your phone or whatever device. You can also set it to like nighttime to update by itself at night, or just update it in a time that you're not going to be using your device a lot because it'll take a lot of time to update. So similarly on Android, you can navigate to settings, system, and system update, and tap check for updates. If an update is available, follow the on-screen instructions to download and install it. Ensure your device has sufficient battery life or is plugged in during the update. So some devices will require you to plug your phone in or plug the device in before you update just to make sure that charge doesn't run out. And this is the last resort option. So I wouldn't actually say that this is something that's viable for most people. But if you're getting like a lot of storage issues, then you might want to clear everything off of your device and just start new. So for example, if you've taken like a lot of photos and you don't really want to go through them, I don't know if that's the best example, but in case your phone is just filling up or your device is filling up fully and then you want to clear everything and start new, then you can do something called a factory reset. And the reason it's called a factory reset is it restores your device to factory settings. So it clears all the data off of your phone. All the settings will be defaulted. It's basically like if you got the phone new. So when to consider a factory reset? if you're facing persistent storage issues, performance problems, or preparing for a sale or transfer. So for example, if you're trading in your phone to get a new phone, or if you're selling your phone online, you do not want the other person who's buying the phone to have all your data. So if you do a factory reset, everything will be reset on your phone so they can start using it as new. And this is just a warning, just like I stated. A factory reset will erase all data on your device, including apps, photos, contacts, and settings. So you do not want to do it if it's just like a small storage problem. If you actually need to factory reset and do it, but it'll clear your phone of everything. So if you accidentally factory reset, then you have to download all the apps again, add all your contacts back. So on iOS, you can go to settings, general, erase, or reset, and then erase all content in settings. And on Android, it's a similar step process. But generally, it'll also ask you for like a password just to make sure you don't do it accidentally. So this is the conclusion. I know I've said a lot. This was a pretty long presentation. So recap of key steps. First, you want to make sure that you have enough storage on your device. And if you don't have enough storage, then that can cause your device to get slower and you might not be able to download software updates. So this is how to do it. Access your storage usage. So just like I said in previous slides, go on your phone and try to access how much storage you're using, see it, and then make a decision based on how much storage you're using. So if you're using very little storage, then you probably don't need to clear it, and you have headroom for more apps and stuff like that. But if you're using a lot of storage, then maybe you need to think about the steps that we said in this presentation. So next, remove unnecessary apps. Just like I said in the previous slides, delete apps you no longer use. And also consider offloading apps on iOS to save space while keeping data intact. So this is a big tip. Delete all of your apps that you're not using. If you have hundreds of apps, I know some people who have like a lot of apps, a ton of apps that they don't really use. If you're one of those people, be sure to delete all the apps that you don't use. That's going to be slowing down your phone. And then clear cache and temporary files. Go to settings and clear the cache data, especially for large apps. That can also help speed up your device. Use the built-in tools. For example, your iPhone might recommend you to clear some large attachments, stuff like that. There's already going to be things to help you clear storage on your phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android. Backup and delete large files. Regularly backup large files to the cloud or an external drive. And one thing I would like to say is just to keep your data safe, if you have some like really important files or documents, be sure to keep it in at least two places. If you only keep your device on a hard drive, or if you only keep it on the cloud, then if something happens, for example, if the cloud gets hacked or your device gets stolen or something like that, then you're not going to have your data anymore. So keep all of your really important personal data in at least two places, either the cloud, on an SSD, on an external hard drive. If you do that, then your data is it's more likely to be safe. And also keep your device updated. These updates are really important. I know that some people don't really want to update or they forget to update, but it's really, really important, especially for the security of your device. Because if you don't update it, then hackers can get into your device more easy. So always remember to upgrade your device within usually like a few weeks of when it launches. And as a last resort, if you really, really need to, or if you're selling your phone or giving it away, perform a factory reset and that'll completely wipe everything on your device. So this is something that I just added. So if you're purchasing a new device, then here are like some of the amounts of storage, I guess, that you would want to have. So if you're purchasing a new smartphone, like an iPhone or an Android, look for at least 128 gigabytes of storage. And if you're a video or content creator, then look for more. 128 gigabytes is enough for most people if you're just going to take photos or download apps. But if you need more, then take more. If you're purchasing a new laptop, look for at least 512 gigs of storage. Most people keep their main, like important stuff on the laptop. So make sure your laptop has a lot of storage. If you're purchasing a new desktop PC, then that's probably going to be something or somewhere where you store all of your data. So look for at least 1 TB of storage. And if you're purchasing a new smartwatch, look for at least 16 to 32 gigabytes of data. So really, how much storage you need to purchase, how much storage you need on your device, it depends on the type of device. If it's a smartphone or a smartwatch, you necessarily don't need that much because you're not going to be storing all of your documents on it. But if it's a laptop or PC, then you're going to be storing a lot more stuff on it. So you probably want more storage. The general advice is that more storage is better, especially if you will use the device over the long term. So if you're planning to keep a device for 1 year, for example, if you're going to upgrade your phone every year, then maybe you can go with less storage. But if you want to keep your device for a long time, maybe 5, 7 years into the future, then you want a lot more storage so you can keep downloading apps and taking photos and videos during that time.